Welcome, quilters. Let's talk hearts. Now, hearts are a personal pet peeve of mine. My idea of a heart should have a point at the tip and the valley. Well, that's really hard to do because you have an inside point and you have an outside point. If you go around the outside of a whole heart, well, you'll have a point at the valley, but not at the tip. And if you're on the inside of a heart, you'll have a point at the tip, but not at the valley. Don't worry, I solved the problem. We do half a heart at a time. Now you can have hearts with points at the valley and the tip, and you can have them touching their edges, or you can have them interlocking, and trust me, there's a whole host of other designs. I did these all using my traditional heart chain tool. So this tool has 4 different hearts. Here's the large one, here's a smaller one, there's a small one, and there's an itty bitty tiny one. Works pretty good. Now, this tool, in order to get one side of the heart, you're going to have the template this way. You're going to flip it to get the other side of the heart. And while I have put fabric gripping action on the back of my ruler, there is none on the front of the ruler. So you're going to want to use some grippy or some stabilizer tape or something to give you some extra grip on the front. Now this tool comes in 1/4 inch, 3/16, or 1/8 inch, and it is part of my chain gang. So let's do some horizontal hearts. I'm going to line up my template so that the tip of my heart, the rounded top of my heart is touching a border line or a seam line. You can also line up on the bottom, whichever you prefer. All right, I'm going to drop my needle, tie off my thread in the valley of the heart. I'm going to go all the way around to the bottom. I'm going to flip my template over to do the other half of the template. I'm going to line it up back to the center. And now, if I want to continue this line, I'm going to backtrack to the widest part of the heart. And this will put my hearts touching each other as they go around. Flip over, line up, go into the center, back out, flip your template, and continue on. So if I want to interlock these hearts, we're going to start once again in the valley. Flip your tool. Now this time I'm going to stop at just a spot that I particularly like. Okay? You can always take and mark that spot that you want to use. I don't put a mark on there because everybody likes a slightly different look. So find what works best for you. So I'm going to flip the tool over, line it back up on the other side at the same spot I stopped, go into the center, flip the template. Let's change the spot slightly so you can see how you can get a different look. So now you can see that this one is interlocked more and this one is less. You can choose what you want the interlocking to be. Now this will do more than just horizontal. You can do vertical. Let's change this up a little bit. So now let's do some vertical hearts. Those were some nice horizontal hearts. Let's do some vertical hearts. So I am lining it up on the center line or on a seam. Now you can go all the way down one side. I don't like to do that personally. I would rather go flip it over from one side of my center line to the other. So that's the technique that I like to use. Let's go from the center to the tip, needle down, flip the template over, line it up. We're at the bottom of our border. I'm going to flip the tool over and repeat my design. And so now you have vertical hearts. Now there's lots you can do with these vertical hearts. So let's play with some more variations. One of my favorite designs is playing with the different sizes of the hearts. So here you can see I'm going to do a little heart, and then I did a big heart. And then I did a little heart, and then a big heart. You can do it all on one side, or you can trade from side to side. Now this lets me then do some more designs. So let's get started with another batch. So let's start now with the littlest of hearts right there. So we're going to line up our template, and we're going to do a little guy. Now let's do a big guy. Put in a little guy, and put in a big guy on the opposite side. So now you can see that I have done a little guy and a big guy, and a little guy and a big guy, and a little guy and a big guy. Okay? Now, can you see how if I come back up with my big guy, I now have little hearts inside. So let's just finish that off for you. I'm going to flip over to the other side to finish off my big guy. Now I like crossing the center line. To me, I have a much cleaner and crisper cross points when I flip from one side of my center line to the other. And voila, you see how you can create multiple designs from the same basic concept. So now you can also see how I did the same basic design horizontally by creating one half of a big one, putting the small one in, doing a large, finishing off the large size, going back to the widest point, putting in a new one, putting in a small heart here. You have lots of variations, all from playing with different sizes of the same template. So here is the same design using the little one, but a smaller one. All right, there's one more border design that I would like to show you, and then I'd like to show you some block designs. So the border design, there are a couple of variations you can do to this. I'm going to use the second largest and the second smallest. And it is a quick, easy way to fill a border or a sashing. So we'll start by lining up the template on a center line or on a seam. This works very nice on a seam as well. I'm going to go all the way down using the second largest size. Now you can use any combination of two different sized hearts that you want. I'm going to go to the second to smallest, and I'm going to go back up. Now you note I'm not finishing a heart. All I'm doing is fixing it so I can create a nice continuous line border. So, second largest, second smallest, back to second largest, so you see how I can create a nice fill for my border. This was the second largest and the second smallest. Here, the two smallest were used. So you can create a lot of unique designs, all using the traditional heart. The tools in my chain gang are very good for creating border designs. Don't think they're not going to do a block design for you too. So as you can see here, I have two block designs. This one is using the same size as I go around, and this one is using a large and a small size. Let's do all the same and show you how this works. I have already taken a square and marked with my stencil the 8 points. I'm going to use those 8 registration marks for lining up my template. So we're going to start by getting in the center and dropping your needle and thread and pulling up your bottom. We're going to start by lining up my template on one of the axes. I'm going to go from the center. I'm going to rotate my template to the next registration line or next axis. Rotate. You will note that I am moving my template, not my fabric, as I'm rotating around. Yes, this is a small enough piece, it would be easy to rotate this, but remember, when you're working on larger quilts, you don't necessarily have the throat space to push around a big quilt. So learn and practice to move your template and not your fabric when you're rotating to the next axis point. Before you get done with everything, count the number of times you've done a heart. In this case, I need to backtrack because I missed one of the lines. And that's the best part about it. It's really easy to come back and fix that line, primarily because you're going out of the center. So I skipped this line right here, so I'm just going to rotate my template to pick that one back up. Now, before I tie off my threads, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm good. A very simple block design that looks nice, and you can see your variation by using 2 different sizes. I hope you enjoyed the traditional heart design. Again, it comes in 1/8 inch, 3/16, and 1/4 inch. Have fun quilting!